Now recognize the gentleman from Texas, Judge Gohmert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the witnesses that are here today. I want to direct the first question to our two law professors. Did both of you read the 123-page opinion by Judge Hainan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it here myself. Yeah, for full disclosure, Andy Hainan was a classmate in law school. He was one of the best and brightest. That's why he went with one of the best firms in the country in Houston, and why President Bush nominated him. He's a brilliant guy. Have you also read the response that that has been filed by DOJ? Both
Yes.
of you? Okay. Well, I was noticing at page 10 of the response where they're saying the government will suffer irreparable harm absent a stay, and in the very next sentence they say that the injunction Judge Hainan granted blocks DHS from exercising its authority conferred by Congress, and it's Congress that's trying to stop them from exercising the authority, not by a written executive order, as Judge Hainan makes clear, but as a good monarch would do. The president spoke law into existence, and then the Secretary of Homeland Security ran and put it into a memo. And so I'm wondering if a law student, in response as a question, given a question, here's your exam, respond to the 123-page opinion of Judge Hainan, and they came back and said irreparable harm because the injunction will prevent us from doing the job that Congress conferred on us. What would be your response as law professors to that answer?
I guess my first response would be, again, bootstrapping argument, F, right? I mean, because, you know, what's happening here is that they're saying that they're going to suffer irreparable harm because they're prevented from doing what they think they have the authority to do. But of course, the $6 million question is, do they have the authority to do what they're trying to do? And that is, it's got to be no. The answer has to be no, because despite Professor Legomsky's attempt to identify 4 criteria that he thinks provides a meaningful limiting principle, with respect, they don't provide a meaningful limiting principle. If this president can do that, future presidents can unilaterally suspend for entire categories of people whom they prefer for some political reason, operation of various laws, environmental laws, labor laws, tax laws, and on and on and on. And that clearly upsets the constitutional balance. That's not faithful execution of the law.
And if I may add, the ranking member is correct. This was not a constitutional decision. The decision was on the Administrative Procedures Act. But I think Judge Hainan showed his hand a bit, maybe a Texas bluff, if I may use the example. And he suggested very clearly that there would be an abdication. So the Constitution says the president shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. This tracks very closely the standard Heckler v. Cheney, which speaks of a complete abdication of the laws against entire class people. Judge Hainan's opinion explains very clearly why. Now, one aspect of Judge Hainan's opinion which hasn't been appreciated is he says we need notice and comment, right? We need rulemaking. We need to see how is this program working. I think this hearing testifies why. We don't exactly know how this policy works. In my research, I found a checklist used by DHS which has no other box. It's the only way to grant DAPA is by checking off a box. Professor Legomsky found some narrative form which is slightly different. He actually admitted in his testimony there are different types of forms being used. Do we know which one's being used? No, we don't. This would be a perfect opportunity to take the time to show to the American people, how is this working? Show us what's happening, and then we can go to court. So I think there's one salutary aspect of Judge Hainan's opinion is we can learn what this is doing. We're learning this now after the memo's been released. Had Texas not filed the lawsuit when it did, this policy would be in effect, and there would be no opportunity to challenge it. So
well, my time's about to expire, but this is an incredible response in how poorly done it is, in my mind. The bottom page 10, it says, for reasons long recognized as valid, the responsibility for regulating the relationship between the United States and our alien visitors has been committed to the political branches of the federal government. As such, preliminary injunction necessarily causes irreparable harm. They cite that this belongs to Congress and then come back and says, so if you leave it to Congress, it causes the executive branch irreparable harm. These, for heaven's sake, our Justice Department needs better attorneys, and especially when you look at page 15, saying that you got to throw out the injunction because it undermines the department's efforts to encourage illegal alien. Again, Professor, it bootstraps. They were not given that responsibility. That's not their job. I see my time's expired.
Thank the gentleman from Texas.